Alright, okay, here we go. I already did one this week and I was never planning on doing more than one a week. But I don't know what it is right now. I just don't want to be alone. I just feel like I'm going through a lot right now. Like I have a lot on my mind and I don't know why, because it's been a good week. It's been a good few days. There's nothing as far as I can tell that should be bothering me, but then again, I guess that's how depression works, right? There's not always a rhyme or reason. At least there's not one that we can tell. I honestly don't know how much my depression is just related to like brain chemistry and how much is because of past trauma or current trauma, or if I'm going through, I don't even know if I'm going through current trauma. I might be, for all I know, because I've never been good at telling that about myself. Just emotional trauma can have so many forms, and anyway, it's all a little confusing. But yeah, so I feel like doing something relaxing, and I do really love coloring with gel pens, but I don't just want to sit by myself and color with gel pens right now. And of course, everyone else is asleep because it is after 11 p.m. here, and I should be asleep too, but I don't want to sleep. I'd rather do something relaxing. So that's not sleeping. You'd think sleeping would be the most relaxing thing I could do, right? I've never liked sleeping. Maybe it has to do with the nightmares, but I think it mostly has to do with the fact that I am just driven to constantly be productive. I hate being not being productive. My husband's the same way, but he's even worse than I am, except for he's better at like falling asleep than I am, so lucky him. This is weird. This time it says that I have 0 concurrent viewers, and every other time it's always said that I have 1. Oh hey, now it says I have 1. So hello if I actually have a viewer. If not, it usually says I have 1 even when there doesn't seem to be anyone there. Unless I have like a silent stalker every time. I don't know. Today I'm going to do duct tape flower pens. Mostly just because I passed by these in the craft aisle today at Walmart, and it's been so long since I've used duct tape, and I got rid of it all when we moved, and I miss duct tape. And so I don't have pens to do it with, but I have colored pencils. So we're just gonna put some cute flowers on colored pencils, and there are 2 different kinds that I know how to do. It has been so long since I've done this. I think I'm gonna start by doing one with these 2. These are fun. They used to have like a more purpley and pink space one, and now they have that one. Kind of cute. So duct tape is really, really tricky. For me, last I checked, I was pretty good at it, but I have tons and tons of experience. So if I happen to still be good at it tonight, please know that if you're just starting out, it's not gonna look the same for you unless you're like super duper skilled, because it's just tricky. The main thing is just getting it lined up and looking nice. So, angle the camera so that y'all can see me, and I will put this back in there. So you start off, your duct tape can be any length really. I would suggest not starting it with it this long, because the longer it is, the harder it is to line up. And by the way, when you get scissors for duct tape, you're going to want to keep those scissors specifically for duct tape, and maybe even get like some sandpaper and sand them down occasionally. It's been so long since I've done that, because they get sticky. And then you want to line these up so that it's not completely lined over, and you want to try to get it as flat as possible. So I start in the middle to smooth it out. The ends often end up curled for me because it's never perfect. So then you have it like this. Oh, it looks so fat right now. And then you want to flip it over so the sticky part's at the bottom, because this is what you're going to start, or what's going to be wrapped around the end. And this one is just going to be like, oh, I skipped a step. So, you know what, let's say I didn't skip a step. I just forgot what kind of flower I was doing. So we actually don't want it this long at all for this part. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it here. Oh, because for these flowers, I should have had an example so I could have showed you what this would look like at the end. And I'm gonna cut off one of the sides, one of the sticky sides here, or maybe just rip it. Rip it's probably easier. If I really do have an actual viewer and YouTube's not just lying to me, feel free to say hi so I know that I'm actually talking to someone. Unless you are just a creepy stalker, in that case, that's cool. Just stay quiet and do your thing. You want to cut these now. The thinner, probably the better. But if you do too thin, you could end up cutting off. You want to make little frills here. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the bottom part around the edge of the pen, and this is going to be sticking out the middle of our flower. Like the little, whatchamacallem, some flowers that have the pollen on them, those things. This probably would have looked better if I had cut off the other side of the sticky tape instead of ripping it. The other option is to fold it over, but if you do that, it's going to be thicker and harder to cut. And when you're cutting it this thin, you don't want to make it harder on yourself, because it does get harder to keep them even and not cut them off. It's been so long since I've done duct tape. I've missed it so much. I always thought that I would be able to make a duct tape dress, a prom dress. They do a scholarship. You like get a scholarship or entered into a contest maybe for a scholarship. But no, it didn't happen. Although I don't know what happened here, but like I think one of my parents must have sent something in or something, because then they like brought me a package that had arrived for me with full of some duct tapes and some like duct tape temporary tattoos. I think I still have one of them in my box full of memorabilia. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah. I should have just made the prom dress. It's not like I would have ended up wearing it. I didn't even go to prom every year, and I just didn't get asked. I was asked once, and that was a really interesting, sort of weird date. Guy didn't even talk to me until like the second slow dance, and it was like a 14-hour date. And I went senior year with a bunch of my best friends because none of us were asked, and we just went and had fun, and that was honestly the most fun I've ever had at a school dance. Highly recommend doing that if you have friends and don't get asked to dances. It's not as fun if you don't have friends. Honestly, it took me that long to feel like I had friends at school. The last one is always the hardest one to do thin, so I usually just don't bother. Actually, usually what I do, I think, is I just rip it off. Nobody needs that crap in their lives. And I'm going to do the green pencil, just because I feel like it. Okay, so now I line up. No. I don't line up. I used to line up the edge of the sticky part with the pencil, the top of the pencil, and I haven't done that in a long time because then it's too tall. Because the actual petals never end up being quite as long. So you just wrap it around like this. And see, this is far from perfect. The edges are all frayed. I used to sell these things. Like my mom was a manager at a store, just a tiny little store, and she would bring them to work and sell them. And every so often, I'd get like a check for them that I'd go deposit in the bank account she sent me up for. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think that the days of having a viable craft selling business for me are over. One, I'm not motivated enough with my depression, but even if I were motivated enough, it'd still be freaking hard just because I have kids. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this one shorter, just because if you guys are beginners, you're gonna have to do it shorter too. Of course, I don't know how many people are gonna be doing this as they follow along. I don't know what people are gonna use these videos as. I kind of suspect they might be more helpful if you're like looking for a place of belonging, someone to talk to without actually talking to, rather than actual like tutorials or craft help. I want to think that I'm helpful, but it's too soon and no one's said anything if I am actually being helpful. So there's that. Ooh. Now this whole time I'm just picturing myself just having a conversation with my stalker because I don't actually know if anyone's there. And I probably do have some really creepy stalkers just because of life choices that I made in the past that are very stupid, and I'm not safe with my identity and stuff as I should be. I'm working on that. Of course, if you are my stalker and you're listening, you already know that. Ha. I like to think I'm funny. Don't know if you can tell. My stalker probably likes that about me. Yeah, so once you have that petal, you just drop it around. And I like to start small, so like this one is smaller. Like it could be bigger than that. I just go to the top of this. When you really want to get them big, you can like fold that over there too, and that makes it a little bit bigger. And I kind of alternate sides that I cut them off of. You don't have to do this. It's easier to make them the same height if you don't do this. But just because I try to make the bottoms wider than the tops, that helps you give more of a curve in the flower. And no worries if that's not what it ends up looking at. Like, I know that the first many times that I did this, I struggled to get it to look like that. Probably should have worn a bra, huh? Didn't realize I was going to be putting my boobs in the picture. Yeah. I hope somebody who will talk to me will show up, because this is a lot more fun for me that way. Ooh. So this is basically the whole process. Well, I guess after that you can like start alternating the sides that you're putting the petals on, and that helps give it more shape. Makes it so it's not like a mouth curved instead of like a circle curved, you know? If you know what I'm saying. And if your petals, if you end up like not using up the whole sheet of duct tape, like you end up with an awkward amount of space at the end, don't feel bad about yourself for misjudging, because I do this all the time. Like, it feels like I'm throwing away so much duct tape by throwing this away. But honestly, that's just part of the craft. Like, that just happens. There's no reason to feel bad about yourself for that. And if anybody who's watching this who does not struggle with anxiety or depression, that might sound totally psycho, but this is totally something that I struggle with, and I know I'm not alone. So now I've done a smaller one, I'm going to start doing bigger ones just because I can. Because I know me, I know that I can do bigger strips. Don't feel like you have to do that. Don't feel like you have to prove anything. Because honestly, the smaller strips you do, the more experience you get. Because figuring out how to line up the duct tape without getting lots of bubbles and wrinkles, so getting it flat, that is the most important thing that you can master before you start moving on to bigger projects, because they all require lining them up like this, unless you buy like the pre-made duct tape sheets. But in that case, there's still some lining up. It's probably just not as hard. I don't know. I've never done that. But I think that's part of the fun. And don't worry about it if your sticky parts end up being a different length on each side too. That also just happens. And mine are not always even. Like, the edges are totally like uneven and kind of frayed. Like this one, I got like a little thing right there, and I'm just gonna try to snip it off without making it worse. Call it good. Yeah. And honestly, sometimes if I get to the end and I still think these are too tall, then I'll like cut them off. In fact, I might just do that right now because I already feel like they're too big. And I feel like I made a mistake by trying to do this because they're sticking together and making it really hard. And now all of them are just kind of stuck, but I'm just gonna kind of try to loosely massage them to get them to come apart. And hopefully all will be well. Okay. Yeah, not perfect. Probably should have done that. That's okay though. This is still gonna be pretty cute. I just really like this star one. I really liked the purple and pink spacey one when it came out, and now I don't like that kind as much. Like, it's just too bright for me. But this with like the sort of cooler pinks and purples, I really love it. It's really pretty. So that makes me happy. Choose duct tape that makes you happy. And this is far from perfect, but yeah. And really, you can just make this as big as you want to go. I don't remember at what point I used to stop. But usually, once I'm done, there is a little more to it. So I probably won't make this one too big, just so I can show you guys how I end them with the green duct tape. Although, okay, this time I actually didn't get green duct tape. I have like a mint duct tape. It's almost more blue, honestly. And a leaf duct tape. So I might use the leaf duct tape because I think that's kind of fun. I might use the mint one. We'll see. I might just use the leaf one for the next one. The next one I'm going to do will be like a rose sort of flower. That one is also fun in its own way. It's very different than this one. And see, I used to be so much better at cutting, but right now I just don't care, I guess. Apparently, I thought I was going to care more than I do right now. Yeah. And I usually make these taller too. Like, I get to a point where it's taller. I'm going to do like 2 more petals. And I'm going to have to make another sheet just to do those 2 petals because I'm going to run out of room. So that's okay. Maybe I'll change my mind and do like 4 more petals. We'll see. It kind of sucks when you get this far and realize that you're cutting into the sticky part at the top. But yeah, that's okay. Oh, and you can also get wider as you go, not just taller. And that also has a different effect on how it looks. And try to remember to keep the bottoms narrower than the tops if you want to. It's not a big deal if you don't, or if you forget. Like, really, it's really not. Yeah, this is a nice height that I've got to. So yeah, maybe I'll do like 3 more petals. Just gonna toss that again, but that one doesn't feel like there's as much. But that does get to me. Just a little bit. But it's fine, it's fine. You're not really wasting duct tape. Not really. I mean, so that's just part of what happens. Plus, this is necessary practice if you want to be able to move on to bigger things. The next step that I would recommend once you've, or the next thing to do, once you've done flowers and you want to move on to bigger projects, you can do bookmarks, which are kind of fun. Like, you can just put 2 strips together and then you can kind of decorate them by cutting duct tape. But it's super fun, actually. I think the next step that I took from here was wallets. And I never really used a pattern. I do have a duct tape craft book, and I think at like the first few times I did follow the directions, and like I actually used rotary scissors and a rotary mat, which makes it so much easier. But at that point I had designated or a specific rotary mat for that. And you want to do that if you're going to do that because it gets sticky and messy and it just kind of ruins your rotary mat. But it does make it easier. So if you're planning on doing a lot of this, highly recommend. I was going somewhere with that and I have forgotten where that was. That's cool. Maybe I'll remember it. Yeah, so books are fun. If you want ideas and like measurements and stuff. Definitely not necessary, but they can be super helpful. Okay, I'll do 2 more, and then I'll show you guys how I finish them off. And then we can move on to the other kind. The other kind is the kind that like all my friends did in junior high. I don't think most of them did anything else with duct tape. In fact, a lot of them are doing it with like actual silver duct tape, but that's like, kind of how it started. And yeah, it's just you like cut out little squares and fold them into triangles basically. There are a lot of different methods for that. I think I kind of just made up my own after seeing what other people were doing. So you don't have to do it my way. But yeah, like I just struggle to look up and watch tutorials. Like, you know, there's just all this pressure to subscribe to their channel and watch their other stuff, and they just put all this other stuff in there, and it just gets overwhelming for me sometimes with my depression and anxiety, which makes me sad because there's a lot of awesome stuff out there that I wish I could be a part of. But so this is how it turned out. Kind of cute, I think. I like it. So after that, whew, this is how I do it. I don't know if there's like a way, or if this is the way that I actually like learned, but this is the way that I did it for myself. So this is going to be how long it is. So however long you want it to be. I probably don't want it to be super long since this is a colored pencil. If it's a pen, it can be as long as you want. You're just going to cut it, and you don't just stick the whole thing on at once, okay? So you want to put, I try to cover up the bottoms of the petals. So I start by flattening it there, and then before I put on, oh, I don't think this is straight. Okay, so you do kind of want it to be straight. It is helpful if it's straight. Before I put it on anymore, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to snip it. And actually, before I do anything else, I'm just going to snip some more. That'll help it as you go around to keep it from like bubbling, you know. Help it be uniform. Whew, these scissors are super sticky. Alright, and then you can also kind of stretch it. Duct tape stretches really well. So that's another way you can make sure that it goes. Like, it's already starting to wrinkle for me. I didn't cut it enough. I should have cut it some more often. And it will start to overlap. At that point, you can just rip it or cut it so that it doesn't overlap, or you can just roll with it and just keep going. I just kept going, obviously. But yeah, I think it turned out super cute with this pastel. Like, it's just this cute little pastel flower. And yeah, I don't even know where we got these colored pencils. They were all in like a little package, like they came from a restaurant or something. I don't think I've ever actually seen a restaurant do this with colored pencils. Alright, so for my next flower, I'm going to start with blue in the middle, and then I'm going to do the spacey stuff after that. I just heard someone thought somebody was awake or something. It's probably just my husband sighing in his sleep. Okay, so now you want to start cutting squares, one at a time. I mean, you don't have to do one at a time. If you're not gonna do more one at a time, then you could just like stick them on your surface or whatever. As long as it's not like dusty, because then if they get dust on them, they will not stick to anything very well. Yeah, so I'll just, this one I feel like is a lot more tedious, but depending on your mood, that can be a good thing. Like, it's just very repetitive. So let's see if I can remember how I did this. Okay, well, there are two ways. One, you can just like fold it like this. I know that is one way to do it, but I know that's not the only way to, oh, right. So I think this is how I usually do it. So I fold it part way, like that, and then I press it down, and then I fold another way. I will fold the narrower way first, and then you have it like this, and then you take the sticky part and you fold it like that, and, or maybe you do it the other way. No, I think I messed up something here. I think I did. I don't know how it was supposed to be. But yeah, that's how you do it. So I'm just gonna start here, barely around the, yeah, that part's sticking off, but that's okay. It's gonna get covered up. And let's try again and see if I can figure this out. I mean, obviously we're gonna try again because you have to make a lot of these. This is basically the whole process. Maybe if we do it this, no, that's not going to be it. So basically we have to go that way. And then there's got to be another way to do this. I know there is. Okay. I might have to do a quick lookup, or a quick Google search, a quick lookup. Wow, I'm tired. Okay, yeah. Let's just Google how to fold triangles for duct tape rows. Okay, the first one is not helpful. Not helpful at all. There are actual tutorials on how to do this if anyone's feeling up to watching it. I mean, I know the whole reason I'm doing this is because I don't feel up to watching that myself ever. And I'm doing this for people that might be like me, but if you're lucky, you're not like, oh wait, maybe I'm not doing enough, or doing, I don't know, I just know I'm doing this wrong still. I'm definitely still doing this wrong. Okay. Maybe I need to leave more space. Maybe it's not supposed to be a square, maybe it's supposed to be rectangle. I think I did read that in those instructions and I overlooked that part. So let's see. I'll fold the skinny part first, and then the fat side. That's it, that's how you do it. You just have to do it with a rectangle and not with a square. We figured it out, We worked together and figured it out. Not that anyone's helping me. Still says I have one viewer, but it's probably a lie. Okay, so now we know. Don't start with triangles or squares. Start with rectangles. Well, I guess you can start with squares if you want, because then they will be tiny, and they do get covered up, so it's not like it's a huge deal. See, it's fine. I did it wrong, and it's still going to be fine, guys. That is an important lesson to learn with depression. Not that it's necessarily going to be helpful to learn, because faith and depression do not usually, I mean, there's a weird relationship there, you know? If you have depression, you know what I'm talking about. They coexist, but not happily. And not at the same time. Or in the same ways, or, see, that's not even. That's not even at all. And really, the biggest lesson you can learn, guys, if you have depression, is to forgive yourself. Really, that's so important. That's the first step that you can make if you really want to get better. Because it doesn't matter if you find the right medication or if therapy helps you. If you don't learn to forgive yourself, there's only so much progress you can make before you start falling backwards again. Because even if depression for you in the first place is not self-inflicted, if you have this issue where you don't forgive yourself, then it's going to become a self-inflicted issue. That's, for me, has been such a battle. So especially when I was younger, I mean, I just held grudges in general. Now I don't, but except for, I think I probably do hold grudges against myself. So there's that. And I am having trouble with this one. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. Yeah. And this one, I've seen people make these huge, but really you can stop whenever you feel like it. Once more. These are a fun craft to make, to sell though. Like you can just charge like $1 for them, you know. People do buy them in my experience. I mean, as long as you can get them in front of people. They might not necessarily buy them if you're just like selling them on Etsy or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe. I don't really use Etsy. Never have. Etsy just sort of intimidates me. I don't really know why. But I remember when it was just like a tiny little thing, and now the last time I checked, it was like freaking Amazon. So that's crazy. Actually, I have my own Etsy shop, I think. I don't know if last time I ever used it. I don't think anyone ever tried to buy anything from me. But, well, my phone's almost dead. That's alright. We will get that taken care of. Ah! Fail. Very much fail. These turn out so funky looking. My shapes are all wacko. And I feel like I'm talking like a wacko now. I don't know what's up with my vocabulary tonight. But I'm very, very tired. In case you can tell, like you can see the circles under my eyes. They're very dark. It's kind of cool how makeup can just cover those right up though. Magic. Like, look, I'm not tired anymore. Oh, but just kidding, I am, because now my eyes keep watering because I'm so tired, and it makes my mascara run, because mascara is not waterproof. Actually, I think my mascara is waterproof. So it's probably my eyeliner and my eyeshadow that's running. Huh. Oh, I'm such a weirdo. I really hope these videos help somebody somewhere out there. I mean, as long as people can find them, I'm sure they'll help someone, but that's the thing. As far as I know, only one of my high school friends has been watching these. I did have a second viewer show up. Was that yesterday? Still no idea who that was. And for all I know, I have been having somebody else show up to watch these this whole time. Somebody who's just not saying anything. Ooh, stop it. Yeah. I don't know how to make these look pretty at the end, honestly. Like, they always look kind of funky. I'm not happy with how this one's turning out. I'm really not. This one's not my favorite. But I am satisfied with the work I've done, and I think I pretty much finished what I came here to do. So I'm just going to end this one, or finish off this file now, and end the video. Because I am sleepy. And I was hoping to get some research done tonight for one of my other books. But we'll see, that might not happen. Who knows, I might actually go to bed. I really should. I've been so sleepy lately. I tried to take a nap today, and I think I did get like an hour-long nap while my son watched TV, and my daughter just slept on me. And it didn't feel like I got any rest at all. Not even a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to cover this one with this cool leaf duct tape that I found at Walmart. By the way, the links I put at the bottom, the single pack takes you to a page where you can like choose your color. They're all the 15-year-old rules of the colors. Oh, and see, this one turned out all wonky. It's got lots of bubbles. I mean, it doesn't look too terrible. Okay, it looks kind of bad. But I'm still kind of pleased with how it turned out. I forgot that I was going to switch over to the other one. But, yeah, and the other one is a 6-pack of colors for $14, I think. Okay, no, I'm not supposed to mention the price. As an Amazon affiliate. But usually those ones are like $3 or more at Walmart. So whatever price that one is, it's probably a good deal. It's probably worth it. I'm not supposed to talk about prices. Sorry. Just forget I said anything. I'm a lot more tired now than I was when I started. But yeah, so I would recommend those, and make sure you designate your scissors, get good scissors in the first place. and forgive yourself and be careful. And it's probably not going to be pretty if it's your first time. You probably will have bubbles in the petals, and that's how we all start out. Like, I promise. If somebody's first art starts out not making flowers like that, they have similar experience elsewhere where I'm sure they had their own issues getting that started too. Because nobody's perfect. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. So I'm gonna go now. Maybe get some real sleep tonight. It's not even midnight. You guys should be so proud of me if I actually go to bed right now. That's an if, because there's no guarantees. Alright, well, good night, and I hope you guys know that you are loved, and I hope you have a wonderful morning or day or evening, wherever you are, whenever you are in the future. And goodbye.